Okay, let's finish 2.06 and then we'll submit to the Dropbox. Woohoo, that's gonna be awesome. In this lab, you'll decorate the objects and render the animation. Goals for the lesson: decorate the ball and ground with materials and textures, test the render, and then render the final. Okay, so you probably still have your project open right now. We are in, let's see, where are we? We are, sorry, I'm gonna have to start over. Open recent, lab 5, here we go. Okay, so I want to try to get rid of some of these windows that I have here. Let's see, I'm not sure, that just created a new one. Do you remember how to do these? You have to grab it and drag it until you get that arrow, right? And then they'll go away. I'm not sure if I can get rid of, for some reason, I just can't get rid of. That's gonna get rid of that, and I don't wanna get rid of the top one. Gets really challenging here. Maybe I can create another one of these and use this to get rid of that. Hey, I did it, sort of. I have to hit, well, now I'm in trouble. I don't know what just happened. Okay, well, I don't know how to get rid of that, so I'm just sliding it over. What my goal was is to make sure that I was in my 3D view. You can see here, if I highlight that, that's 3D view. That's where I can see the whole window. I'm gonna press down on my middle mouse button and rotate things a little bit. Maybe I'm gonna bring my bouncing ball down more to, like, say 15, so I can see it a little better. And I wanna zoom in by scrolling so I can see my ball and the floor. And I'm probably gonna wanna see the shadow of the ball in relation to the floor as well. I can use Shift to scroll up and down. So I can get a better view, and Control to scroll back and forth from left to right. So get that set up so you can see everything really well, and then you're going to right click on the sphere. We don't want that lattice to be selected anymore, and you know what? I want to smooth out my sphere. It doesn't even look like a ball. So just click smooth, and I'm not sure if you can click it over and over again or if you can only click it one time. But it is definitely smoother now. The other things I wanted to point out to you is, remember from our last class where you could change the method of display from wireframe, solid, texture, material, and rendered? So I'm going to click on the rendered view because that gives me a little sneak peek into how it's actually going to view. So I like that. And let's see here. I don't need this panel open anymore, so I'm just going to grab it and slide it over so that I have more viewing area. And maybe I'll move it like that. Get it in the angle that you want it, where you can really see how your shadow's going to look on your table and all of that good stuff. And okay. And then to decorate, I'm going to slide this out a little bit. And I'm going to slide this up a little bit because I don't need that top area. If you have your cursor, this area, this is the properties area. It says to edit properties of your active object and related data blocks. So remember, if I take this back to solid view, the object that's selected is the sphere. I'm going to bring it back to rendered view so I can see what I'm doing. And you can hover your cursor over these just to get the name of what they all are, but we're looking for material when we want to change the color. And what you have to do is, you'll notice there's a little breadcrumb trail. We're working on the sphere, and we need to create a new material that is connected with that sphere. So you'll notice there, boom, there's your material. Okay, so we want to change the color of it, which would be here under the diffuse box, and when you just click there, it will let you slide this and pick a new color. And then you'll notice that you'll get to see the preview of that. Of course, let's see, what color ball? You know, I love a bright red ball. There we go. I'm just gonna go with red. Perfect. And then you have a lot of options in this window, and you can take some time to go in and explore what happens when you change the intensity. These are sliders. So if you just click and slide, that's the easiest way to do it. If you click on it, it's going to ask you to put a number. So just click outside of it, just click, hold, and slide back and forth. It doesn't even really matter where you put your mouse pointer. Okay, so you can adjust the intensity. You can do these different shader models, see which one you like better. There's tons of options. So I'm going with the Fresnel, kind of like that. And then remember from last time, you also have cycles render. So remember, your Blender render looks like that old clay animation, and the cycles render looks a little more suave. So, oh wow, but with your cycles render, your options go way down. Yeah, so, oh, there we go. I just had to open up that box. Yeah, that didn't really help me, did it? Okay, so you might need to just take that right back to your Blender render where you have all of those different options. You can play around with Fresnels if you're, because I chose Fresnel, you can play around with the different options there with a slider and see if there's any difference. You can change the factor. There's definitely a difference when you change the factor. And then you have specular. Let's see, what is that going to do? So it says specular color of the material. So let's see if we change the specular, what happens? Oh, that's the little highlight. What color do you want your highlight to be? That's fun. That's pretty groovy. I like that. So decide your specular. I'm just going to go ahead and click that. Oh, look at, and then you also can adjust them manually. That's fun too. What happens if you have all of them set to 1? It's pure white. Yes. What if you have them all set to 0? It's black. Okay. So I'm going to have mine set at 0 or set at 1 because I want them to be pure white. Perfect. You can change this, and that's going to change the effect of your little spotlight there. Let's see what happens if I go with tune. Will that smooth out at all? It'll smooth out. What about the size of it? Can I change that? I'm not sure if I can make tune work for me. Nope, tune's not going to work. Let's see, Blinn, Fong. I like Fong. Let's see. Change the hardness of Fong. I like that. Change the intensity. And you can ramp it. Boom. Ramping it makes it more intense, I think. Oh, actually without the ramp it was more intense. So I'll ramp it that way. I like that. So as you can see, there's just all kinds of different little buttons that you can play around with. So you've got your color, and then we're going to click on texture. So we're going to add a texture. And to do that, you're just going to click new. And then when you do that, you'll notice that you've got a texture now associated with it. There's this little drop down box that says type. And so you're going to click on here and pick a texture that you want. Wood is pretty fun, and it is showing up that it's going to work on there. Sometimes in this preview window, you'll notice that it's just, there's nothing showing up. And I'm not exactly sure the reason for that. Oh, I really like this texture right here. I was playing around with this one earlier. You can actually change the color of the texture. Unfortunately, that is way down here where you can't see it in the little preview window, but you can see it if you've got it in that render view that we talked about. You can see Oh, that's pretty. I like that. We're gonna go with that. Sweet. Okay, so you can see it in your render or in your 3D view window. Let's see. You've got, I'm going back to texture. Make sure I'm on texture because I want to play around with that a little bit. So you've got the feature weights and okay, so that's not really, okay, yeah, it's a little slow to show up. In the preview window. That did look good at 0. So hopefully right now while I'm doing this, you're taking the time on your end to just explore the settings for whichever texture that you picked. I noticed when I changed intensity, my texture went away. So that might be a key to, if you don't see any texture, you might need to adjust your intensity. I'm noticing that, where do I need to be? I think my intensity needs to be at about 1 for this one to show up. Let me look at size. Changing the size dramatically impacts the texture. So let's see, where was it? I'm gonna try to change the size back to what it was. I lost it. Was it about 0.3? Maybe it was at 0.25. 0.25 is looking better. Yep, 0.25 it was. Okay, I might change this. Let's see what happens when I change nabla. Nabla, blah, blah, blah. I really see a big difference in nabla. I'm just gonna go with the 0.05. Okay, there's other things that you can click on and see the type of effect that they have. So there's all these amazing buttons. You've got different options here for blending. They all make it look different. And of course, I don't even remember where mine was at. It must have been on color because that's what it looked like. Just going through these, seeing what happens when you change them. Hue works too. Lighten, darken. So I'm gonna go with color. You also have some other little buttons here. Anyway, it's just kind of fun to play around with it. Don't get too crazy. You know, you don't want to drive yourself nuts, right? So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to put some color on the plane. So I'm going to change this view back to solid so I can see what I have selected, and I'm going to right click on the plane. And my Blender is actually freezing up a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and save right now. I'm going to go File, Save As, and this is Lab 6, and this is version 6. So remember, anytime that you feel like your program's kind of being non-responsive, you might have to click Save. And I'm not sure. Let's go to Wireframe View. It's not letting me select the plane, and I don't know why. I'm in object mode, just where I want to be. I can scroll in and out. Ah, there, it worked. Okay, so now that I have the plane selected, I'm going to go over here to the material button, and I'm in plane. I'm going to click new to add a color to the plane, and I'm going to change this back to rendered view so I can see what it's going to look like when it's rendered. And I might just scroll in just a little bit more. I love the colors. That's so cool looking. And then you're just going to click on that diffuse and slide your little color picker around until you get the color of your dreams. Yeah, I might just have to go with red. Remember, you do have a little color picker here. You can click on that and you can pick a color. Ooh, that's kind of fun. I like the color picker. It's interesting to me because when I'm looking at these colors, I'm not seeing them the way that the color picker's seeing them. But the color picker is fun because then you can pick colors that are complementary to your artwork. Okay. That's a little too intense. I'm going to decrease the intensity. Oops, that's making it more intense. Yeah, maybe I'll pick a different color. I did like one of those colors I picked earlier, and of course now I can't find it. Nope. Nope. Well, I don't know that I'm just real crazy about the color. I can always change it here. I can use this little slider to change the value of it. I can wiggle my way around here. Yeah, I don't know. I think I might just have to go with red. Yep, I'm just sticking with a nice primary color. There we go. Red. Okay, so now what about adding a texture? So you're going to click New, Texture, and there's a drop-down box, remember, and just see what works. I can see a little bit of clouds there. Just a little bit. I kind of like that. That's really cool looking. And so you can change this color here. That's nice. Now it kind of matches my ball a little better. That's pretty cool. Remember, you can change the mix, the blend that is. See what kind of effects those give you. Whoa, that's crazy. Darken's kind of nice. Hue's pretty. Color, oh, color's so pretty. So it was on mix. I can't really tell the difference between mix and color. They both are gorgeous. And, ooh, linear light's pretty radiant. All right, I'll just go with the mix that it had on there. And let's see if we can change the size. .10 looks fun. 0.05. Ooh. 0.15. Okay. Go with 0.15, and then you can try this Nabla and see if it has any effect, and your depth. try to change that around a little bit. You've got hard and soft. I like that. That's really cool. I wonder if that's going to affect the mix in color. That is just gorgeous. And it says grayscale. What happens if you pick color? Whoa, that got really wild. That was cool. Let's see if you click on this colors. You've got brightness. I'm going to put it back at 1 and maybe go up to 1.5 just so I can kind of see the difference. Definitely like 1. You can change the contrast. Ooh, that's fun. So you can see what happens when you change those. Let's see what happens if I ramp it. Oh, I lose all my texture. You can click on the material tab, remember, within texture, and you can change that color. Yeah, I don't think you needed to hit the material tab to get that color change. I think you can do it without it too. All right, perfect. So I've got texture on my table, texture on the sphere. Hopefully you were able to find a texture that worked. And now we are just going to do a test render. So what we'll do is click on this render button, and what we want to do is render it at a small size so that doesn't take forever to render. So I'm going to just scroll this down to like 25%. You could scroll it down a little less if you wanted to, but we'll just do 25%. And then we need to pick a file. We have to go to wherever your 3D animation folder is. Did you save it in your C drive or your D drive? Mine is in my D drive, so that's why I'm going there. You go to wherever your 3D art animation is and open up that folder and open up Unit 2 Bouncing Ball. It's going to render and put that in here. Notice I already have one in here. It's an AVI file, okay? So then click Accept, or you can just hit Enter twice. And we're gonna change this to from a ping, because you'll notice the file type says ping right now, and we'll change it to AVI raw, okay? And so now we're going to click this animation button because we're rendering our whole animation, okay? So it doesn't take very long to render. Okay, and then once it's done rendering, I believe we can go to this render button right here and click play rendered animation. Okay, so what did I do? Well, I rendered it in a view that I can't even see the whole thing, didn't I? So that was kind of silly. So I need to go in and I need to make sure that I've got this set up properly. So right now we need to get back into 3D view. So click on your 3D view. All right. Okay. I'm going to go for that. So I'm going to pause. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and click on my rendered view again. I'm not liking where my light source is, okay? So I'm gonna scroll out really quick. I'm gonna figure out where my light is. I think in order to do that, I probably have to get over to solid. Light, is that right? Which one's the light? Let's hover it. I'm pretty sure that's the camera. Oh man, it's been a while since I used this program. Okay, so I wanna, I'm gonna hit G and I'm gonna move it over here. Click, come over here and hit G and move it over here. Click, and let's see. Yeah, okay, that's where I want my light. All right, so over here, like this might be it. Okay, so this little data right here if you've got your lamp selected. Okay, sorry, I'm just trying to remember how to do everything. It can be, let's see if I change this to rendered view. Okay, yeah, that is my light. It's creating a shadow. It's casting a shadow that way. I can change it to sun view, spot view, hemi view, or area. Wow, that's fun. I think point is definitely what I'm wanting. You can change the energy. So you can have it super bright. Or not so super bright. I'm just trying to think. No shadow, ray shadow. I'm gonna try the distance and see what that does. It didn't really do anything. Negative, this layer, specular. Yeah, I don't think I like that specular. I don't want that glare on the table. So that's better without that for me. The shadow, can I make it so that it's not pitch black? Is that possible? Yes, I can. My shadow does not have to be pitch black. I like that. So I tried different options. All right, now I'm going to scroll back in and let's go ahead and let's go ahead and click on animation to render this scene. Okay, so my camera is shooting from this angle. I do have to move my camera. And so we're gonna go back over here and change this to 3D view. So here we go, scrolling out, there's my camera. I gotta right click on it. I gotta hit G and I grab that and move it over here and up high. Okay, I'm gonna scroll over here and go, whoa, now the camera's too far over there. Hit G, move it. Scroll this way, hit G, move it. Okay, where exactly am I trying to get this camera? I want to get it, hit G. I want to get it right where I'm going to be viewing from. Do we want that to roll up just a touch? Probably. Okay, so this is where it gets really fun. Okay, let's see. And take that rendered view. Okay, that's not going to help me though, because that's not going to show me where my camera's at. And I'm wondering if my camera is far enough. Oh, it's totally going the wrong way. Okay. I need my camera. I'm going to hit this side. I'm going to hit 3. I need this camera to rotate down. Oh, how did this get at negative 70, negative 90? There we go. Oh, this should be at 0. Okay. All right, let's do the Y value. Oh, let's do the Z value at 20. So I'm gonna bring it up. Nope, that's too high. Let's try 15. And probably my Y value, I need to take it out to 40's too far. How about 25? 20. And we might need to lower it a little bit. Really gonna know until I try to render this animation. Oh, my camera definitely needs to be a little closer and probably a little, let's go render play. Okay, so closer and just a little lower. Okay, so going back in here to 3D view, and I'm going to bring my camera closer. So I'm going to hit 3, so I'm at the perfect side view. And to get the camera closer, it's the Y-axis down here, so I need to move it over. So let's try going to 10. That might be too close. Let's try 12. Are we at 3 side view? It says that we are. let's try, gotta scroll out so I can kind of see what's going on. I think the X value is not at 0. I don't know why. I don't know how it moved over. Okay, so now it's at 0. And what did I say? It needed to be a little bit lower, right? So I'm gonna take the Z value down to 8. And then I'm gonna have to rotate. I don't know, what do you think? Pretty darn close. Is that where I want to be? Let's try it. Okay, click animation. Now my camera is a little too low. Okay, so I'm going back in to my 3D view. And I'm gonna bring it up to 9. And I want it to be a little bit closer, so I am gonna go to 10. Okay. Let's try rendering it. Whoa, was that what I wanted? I think that's what I wanted. Let's play that. Okay, render, play rendered animation. Oh, it's too high now. Okay. I'm sure you're like, Miss Girot, please. Okay, so now the Y value, or no, the Z value is too high. So I am gonna take it back down to 8. Okay, and I'm gonna hit animation again. All right, here we go. Let's play that rendered animation. Boom, boom, boom. What about the camera angle? I don't like the camera. The light angle. I don't like the light angle. I hope you're as picky as I am about everything. Okay, so the light is over here. And you know what? I think that light needs to be more like, let's right click on the light. And we don't want it to be rotating it. We want to transform it. So I'm going to click on the translate manipulator button. And I'm going to hit 1, so I'm in front view. Okay, so I'm in 1 front view, and I'm going to hit G, and then I'm going to hit X because I want it to stay on the X coordinate. And I'm going to click it about right there, and then I'm going to hit G, and I'm going to hit Z because I want it to stay on the Z coordinate. Okay, and now I'm going to hit 3 so I can go side view. And I'm going to hit G, and I'm going to hit Y, so it'll stay on the Y. And let's try that. Okay, I'm going to hit animate. What do you think about the lighting in that? Rendering a Blender file lets you create a different type of file based on your project, such as an image or movie. For example, you can render a project as an image if you wanted to, such as a GIF or a JPEG file, so people can view the project as a 2-dimensional image even if they don't have Blender on their computer. You'll render Blender animations as AVI files, and that's what I showed you how to do today. Remember how you changed it from a ping to an AVI? Test rendering. Rendering an animation in Blender can take a long time, and while it's rendering, you won't be able to do anything else in Blender. So before you render your final animation, you do a test render at lower quality, which is what we did at 25%. Rendering at a lower quality is much faster, so you can check the animation and make sure it looks the way you want to. Then you'll render it at full quality. So, what should you do before rendering your final animation? You want to render at a lower quality and make all of those subtle fine-tune adjustments to your lighting and to your camera. Renaming animations. So when you render an animation for the second time, Blender writes over the earlier animation to save space on your computer. This means the new animation replaces the old one, and the old one disappears. This will keep happening as you render the animation more times. When you have an animation you like and want to save, you'll rename it. This will protect it so Blender won't overwrite it with another animation later. Okay, so I've got that little render that I did, right? And so let's say that I'm thinking I still might want to change my lighting some more. So I'm just going to minimize that one, and I'm going to go into my 3D view, and I'm going to just one more time. I'm going to make one final adjustment to my lighting just to see the difference it would make. So I'm going to just go ahead and hit G and Y and move it over here a little bit. And I'm going to hit G and Z and move it down a little bit. And then I will hit my Control 1 and come to this view and decide, okay, is that where I want it? Yeah. So let's go ahead and this time we're going to have to actually open up our folders. So I'm going to go in here and go to my D drive, and I'm going to find my 3D animation folder, and let's see, where have I been saving this? Unit 2, bouncing ball. There's my animation, right? So I'm going to right click on it, and I have to rename it. Otherwise, when I go and save another animation, it's going to save it as first. So I'm going to call this my first render, and then hit enter. It says the action can't be completed because the file is open in Blender. So just click cancel, and then you'll just have to go ahead and select that and close it out. Now you can make your change. Rename it as first render, okay? And now that that's saved, I'm gonna go ahead, and I've got that lighting and everything changed. I'm gonna go ahead and render that one. And that's going to create a completely different look. Oh, kind of like that one. That's pretty sweet. All right, so now I can go render, show rendered animation. Okay, so there's that one. Okay, and that one's playing, and I'm going to open up the other one. I'm going to open up, I can't name it because it's open right now. I'm going to open up that other one, and I'm going to play that one too. So now I can go, okay, well, which one do I like the most? And it's not on a loop, so I need to repeat. Okay. Which one do you like? I think I like the one on the right better. I like my second render better. The lighting is way cooler, so I'm going to keep that one. So to do that, I just closed it out. I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to call this one my final. Oh, okay, here we go. Ready? How do you name your files that you're going to turn in? With your first and last name. So it's going to say your first and last name. Please note that your name is not Rachel Girot, okay? Your name is whatever your name is. You type that now. And then you can say that this is your Unit 2 Bouncing Ball Final Render .avi. And then hit enter. Ta-da! And you're going to turn that into me. Now, hold on. Before you do anything else, get this back into 3D view, and I need you to click File, Save As. Unless you've already saved it as 6, it doesn't really hurt. You can either go Save if you've already got it saved as version 6, or you can click Save As if you haven't done that yet, and make sure it says Lab 6, Ball, version 6, Save as a Blender file. Remember, if you don't click Save right now, it's not going to save all of those awesome changes that you made, okay? Mrs. Girot is going to want to see that. So now you just need to go into our class. In this lab, you decorated the ball and ground with materials and textures, you test rendered the animation, and you rendered the final animation. And I know that it took a long time, but this was kind of a review of all of those skills that we haven't practiced in a while, and it was good for you to get in there and play around with that and get more familiar with how to do it. If you have a more efficient way of doing something, please let me know, because I'm still learning Blender as I go as well. So let's see here. We're going to go back to 2.06, and you're going to click. It says to submit your final Blender file and your animation movie. So you're just going to click on the Dropbox. In your Dropbox, there will be an upload file button. So you're going to click upload, and then the files that you're going to upload will be your AVI file. And do you remember how to see those file names? Let's see here. Let's see if I've got my file names. I do. But you go into View, and you can change it so that it's showing the details, and you can make sure that it says file name extensions. So you can see that this is your final render, your .avi file. You're going to submit that one. And then you're also going to submit the final Lab 6 bouncing ball Blender file. So that's all I need is those two. I don't need all of the other ones, but just the version 6 Blender file and your final render AVI. Named properly with your first and last name at the beginning of the file name, not in the middle, not at the end. Okay? Thank you. Excellent job. You did it.